What's up, everybody? It's your boy Devon Taylor here, aka Deezus, and this is my podcast, Deezus Take the Reel. No, this is not a religious podcast. It's a podcast where we're talking movies, we're talking life, we're talking all sorts of crazy shit, and this episode is no different. Some exciting shit just went down, and we're going to talk about it. It is the first female-led superhero movie in movies, and we got a lot to talk about. And, of course, we're going to be talking about it, comparing it to a movie about a man, because, you know, that's what America does. And I'm joined by a very special guest. It is a good buddy of mine. We do a bunch of different stuff together, but mainly interact through our very nerdy movie group, Movie Talk by Movie Fans. Shout out to them. But we do council chat. He is a writer. He writes on Geeks+Gamers.com, has his own blog. He knows his shit. It is Ty Rothermal. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's going to be fun to be on.
Yeah. You're definitely a person that's been on my list of people that I've been wanting to get on here for a long time, obviously. And you know, you're just always great to talk movies with, man. I mean,
thanks. I appreciate it. I love listening to the show every week, and yeah, I'm so excited to be on for once.
Yeah, for sure. Super excited. I mean, we literally just talked about this movie for, you know, almost an hour and a half. But the fact that you're still willing to talk about it, I'm willing to still talk about it, means that this movie is pretty sweet. Obviously, guys, I'm talking about Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman just dropped this past weekend. And, you know, we didn't know what was really going to happen because who the fuck knows what's going on over at Warner Bros. And DC half the time. So nobody really knew what to expect, and it ended up being a very good movie. So we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to also kind of do a compare-contrast with Captain America, the First Avenger. But before we get into all of that, so Ty, first of all, you know, we'll kind of chit-chat before we get into, you know, the goods. The opening segment of Deezus Take the Reel, as you know, obviously, is who the hell are you? You know, I know who you are. We talk on a daily basis and all that kind of good stuff. But the people don't know who you are and why you're even on the show. So tell the people who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff.
My name's Ty Rothermal. I'm a 19-year-old college student who's trying to break into the world of film journalism and criticism. I'm currently in journalism for that. I write for Geeks+Gamers.com, doing articles and reviews, like you said off the top. And yeah, I've been a movie fan ever since. Like, I've always loved movies, but the movie that made me realize that movies are more than just entertainment, but also an art form, was The Dark Knight, which we've also talked about a bit tonight, which I'm sure you're sick of at this point. But it really changed my outlook, not only on movies, but just as life as a whole. And so ever since then, in 2008, when I was about 11, I've just had this passion for movies that's really driven me throughout my entire life. And it's brought me to this podcast now.
There we go. And okay, first of all, I'm not sick of The Dark Knight. The way I was talking about it in council chat made it sound like I don't like this movie. Here's my thing, and good thing Ryan's not with us at the moment because he'd kill me. So the thing with The Dark Knight, and this is just me being me, because it is a great movie, it's well made, well directed, and all that jazz. The Dark Knight is not this incredible, amazing movie, I don't think. I think it is a great movie that is elevated by a phenomenal performance. I think that's what it is. I think Heath Ledger's performance really transcends the movie that much that it raises the entire movie to where people are willing to look over some of the more boring aspects, cough Harvey Dent, and that kind of stuff. So I do think it's a great movie, but that's my piece for the moment. But you know, you mentioned it was one of those turning point movies for you, because we talk a lot about, you know, pre-cinephile days. Like, and we talk about it in the group mainly a lot. So it's like, can you really pinpoint like when you kind of like, was it then that kind of turned you into a cinephile you are now, or is it kind of like a string of movies? So it was that movie you watched it and you're like, holy shit, movies are dope.
Yeah, when I was young, the first movie I ever remember seeing was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man in the theater. I remember seeing that. That's like my first movie theater memory. And then seeing Star Wars for the first time, my dad showed me the original trilogy, and I sat there and I watched them. That really mesmerized me, and I think that really activated my creative side and just had me writing stories as a kid. Like, I had I had copies made of little stories I wrote and put them into my elementary school library.
No
And
way.
I don't know if they're still there. Yeah, yeah. And so maybe I should call them up and see if they actually still have it, because I certainly don't have my copies anymore. But then, yeah, with The Dark Knight, that's what really pushed me over the edge and made me just so obsessed with movies.
See, like, I don't have one movie that did that, because, I mean, I've literally, like, grown up in the movie theaters. I mean, like, it's such a big part of my life, and, you know, but I do still say, you know, pre-cinephile days, as in, really, I mean, I guess, if anything, that turned me into cinephile days was finding the group, and this was back when it was Sons and Daughters of AMC Movie Talk, and I've been in the group for, I don't know, I think 2.5 years now, something like that. But I think that's really what kind of changed it. Whenever I'm around all these other people that, you know, see movies in a different way. Because, like, I think I always kind of saw movies in a different way and appreciated them in a different way than other people. But then, you know, really breaking things down and kind of studying movies, like, that's what I really started to do. The group really brought this energy of, like, you want to dig past the movie itself. And then, you know, because I never really paid attention before to, like, you know, directors or screenwriters or, you know, cinematographers. I never really pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I can think of movies where I kind of had a turning point. Like, Ray was one of the first movies where I, like, discovered, like, what acting could be. Like Jamie Foxx's, you know, transformative performance in that. And I was like, oh, that's what acting is. Okay. And then, so I have a couple movies like that, but it's funny you mentioned how you started writing. I was kind of similar back in 4th grade. I was known for writing scary stories because, you know, obviously I'm a horror guy. So, but I would write horror stories. And then when we'd have inside recess, we would all sit around and I'd read the stories. And then I would put, like, my classmates in it. So I literally had a list of people that'd be like, ooh, when can I be in your next story? When can I be in your next story? And so that's kind of how I got started in the writing as well. When did you start writing for Geeks and Gamers?
December of 2016 when Rogue One came out, because they did that Dunkirk IMAX preview in 70mm, and in Canada there's only 3 70mm theaters, and one of them just happened to be in the city that I lived in. I messaged the owner of the site. I was like, hey, I'm going to be able to see this. Do you want it covered for your site? Because I can do it. And then the article did pretty well, and he was happy with how I did, and then he brought me on full time, and so I've been doing it ever since.
That is dope for sure. And then when did you start your blog?
A few months before that, because I had to start it for school. Like, it was part of a project, and ever since then I've just kept writing in it. But as of late, I've been slacking off because I've been busy with work and just watching movies and writing stuff for Geeks and Gamers.
For sure. Yeah, so you know, and I can't even remember how we started interacting in the group. Was it like how? I don't even really remember. It was because, I mean, you know, the council, we all kind of, you know, we have our separate group message and we chat in that all the time. But then, do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was this podcast. You shared it and I listened to it and I was like, holy shit, this is really good. And then there was one episode, I think it was called Mystery Meats or Mystery Eats, or something that you guys made a joke about in the episode, and I tweeted you about it because I burst out laughing on public transit and people looked at me funny. And so, yeah, I think ever since then we've just kind of connected, and especially through the council now, we've become pretty good friends through that.
Yeah, for sure. The council was definitely a big one. But no, I do remember that now. I remember you tweeting me about that. Still trying to get Mystery Eats off the ground. I have not found an app developer for it, but I'm telling you, that, like, it sounds like a creepy app, but at the same time, it would work so well. For those of you who don't remember, that was in the first episode that I did with Jason Lord when we talked about the Adjustment Bureau, and I forget what other movie we talked about that day, but that was with Jason Lord's first episode, and I was pitching him this app idea. So yeah, that's real funny that you brought that up. Still working on it. It's going to happen one day. But that is definitely, so now that we have a good idea of who Ty is, we're going to go ahead and get into this week's game. And this week's game is actually not a game. It's a segment that me and Tyler do on the D's and T Money Show. If you're not listening to that, what the hell are you doing? You should be listening to that as well, because it's super funny. But we have a segment that we do on on that show every time. It's called Chucklefuckery. Have you listened to any of the Deezus Take the Reel shows, Ty?
No, I haven't, and I apologize deeply for that.
No, you're good, man. But I think if you think that Deezus Take the Reel makes you laugh, like, we get into some weird shit on Deezus Take Money. It's a good time. But so we're going to go ahead and do what we do on there. It's called Chucklefuckery. And the reason I'm doing it is because that's going to lead into, we're doing a giveaway this month on Deezus Take the Reel. So this is going to kind of tie into the giveaway here in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and do this. So Chucklefuckery is a writing prompt thing that me and Tyler came up with, and I thought it was fitting since, you're a writer yourself. But so what Chucklefuckery is you have a writing prompt, like a word or a phrase or, something that will be what you're going to write about. And then I will play a song over it, and we only write for the length of that song. You can let the song influence if you want, or it can, you can just kind of write your own thing. But that's what we're going to do on this. So that's why, have the pen and paper ready for you. But we are going to go ahead and get right into that. Before we get into, usually this is a two-man job. I don't have a prompt ready at the moment, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce the music while I come up with a prompt. The music that we are featuring on this episode, we just featured them on Deezus Take Money, but I had to give them another shout out because, we're talking Wonder Woman, we're talking these strong independent women, and this group, they are good friends of mine. The band's name is Blue False Indigo, and they are a trio, and one of them is our neighbor's girlfriend, Kara. Shout out to her again. But they do this, they're a trio, and they describe themselves as spooky folk. So I don't know what music you listen to, Ty, but you're about to hear some real cool shit, as is everybody else. So we'll be writing to the song The Walk by Blue False Indigo, so make sure you guys go and check them out on SoundCloud, on Twitter, on all the good stuff. So make sure you guys check them out. But we're going to go ahead and get into that. And I suppose since we are talking Wonder Woman, we'll make wonder. Just the word wonder, whatever that means to you, is what we're going to be writing about. So
we just write like a bit of a story.
It can be a story. It can be just random ramblings in your head. It can be whatever you want it to be. Like, we've done short stories, we've done, just stream of thought kind of stuff. We've done poems, whatever. Just whatever the music makes you feel, that's what you go ahead and write about.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the song queued up for you guys. Once again, this is The Walk by Blue False Indigo.
Suitcase, walked away, trying to forget everywhere I've been. Left my memories at the door, gotta get away from this life of sin. Headed to the promised land where promises are made and never spent. Everything's better, that's what I'm told, but anything is better than the life I've lived. My weary bones are bound to break, finally letting go of the fear I hold. Take a step into the light, and Mama was right, this town is gold.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and get right into it. Before we get into it, what'd you think of the song, Ty?
Actually, I couldn't hear it, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just wrote to silence.
Oh, damn, I didn't even... Oh, yeah, it's not playing on your end because of the way I have everything hooked up. Oh, lols, I should have just told you to find the song real quick first. I was about to say, I was like... Well, because I already heard the beginning of your thing. I was like, oh, well, this isn't like what the song was at all. But, well... We're going to go ahead and roll with it anyways. Ty, you are the guest here, so you can go ahead and go first. The prompt is Wonder.
Okay. Wonder what the fuck Michael Bay was smoking when he made Transformers 4, because it must have been some strong shit considering what was put into the final edit of that movie. I mean, justifying underage sex? Come on, Bay. I thought you had some standards. Also, what idiot kills off TJ Miller in their franchise, especially when, in this one, it is desperately needed? Someone who has a real sense of humor? Fuck this movie. It's utter bullshit.
Okay. I skipped that one completely. I'm done with the Transformers movies. This new one looks even worse. I don't even know if that's possible, but looks worse. All right. Well, since Ty didn't get the music treatment, mine is a little bit more centric to what the song sounded like. So you'll just have to look it up after we get done recording time.
Will do.
But it's a very spooky song. It's about going on a journey because it is called The Walk. So mine is a little bit more in the literal sense, I suppose. But here I go. No phone, no map. I'm directionless. I wonder which way I'm going. The path seems to be going in circles. They told me this quote-unquote spirit quest was supposed to clear my mind, but all it's doing is frustrating me. I was supposed to find answers, and all I'm getting is more questions. I wonder if they're just sending me on a wild goose chase here. Or maybe this is what I needed. Trying to learn how to find my way. The lesson must be to solve my problems on my own. But how long do I wonder? See? 2 different wonders? See what I did there? But definitely, go check out Blue False Indigo, guys. They are super duper good. But that is Chucklefuckery. And while I'm already on the subject of it, I said that was going to be a tie-in to the giveaway, because before we get into the movie, of course, I got to do some boring housekeeping stuff. But, so first of all, I will just go ahead and explain the giveaway. I'm doing a giveaway this month on Deezus Take the Reel for June. So it is a very easy way to win. And I won't tell you what the prizes are. Just know that you are going to get sent some real cool shit if you win this. Well, some pretty cool stuff. But here's the thing. All you have to do to enter into the giveaway, there's 2 different ways to do it. The easy way is, 1, make sure you're subscribed to Deezus Take the Reel, obviously. And then what you'll do is you'll screenshot it so that way I know that you're subscribed. And then DM the Deezus Take the Reel Twitter account, Deezus TT Reel. The DMs are always open over here at Deezus Take the Reel. You can slide into them at any time. But for the giveaway, you will go ahead and screenshot so that way I know you are subscribed. And then you will just tweet me, or not tweet me, you will DM me the screenshot with your favorite movie. That is, you do that and you are entered into the giveaway that I will do a drawing for at the end of the month. If you want to do it in a bonus fashion, because over on D's and T Money, so we do this Chucklefuckery and we play the songs because we want you guys to participate. So if you would like to get 3 extra entries in, you will go ahead and do that. But then listen to an episode of Deezus Take Money and do one of the Chucklefuckeries with us. Listen to the song, write it down, or rather type it, because you go ahead and send me your Chucklefuckery prompt. I'll read it on the air, but if you do that, that will go ahead and give you 3 extra entries into the giveaway. So, to recap, guys, make sure you are subscribed to Deezus Take the Reel. That is the biggest thing, obviously. Screenshot it in your podcast app or on your iTunes or wherever you're subscribed on. Screenshot it to me and DM me that picture with your favorite movie, and you are instantly entered into the giveaway. And then for 3 bonus entries, participate in one of the Chucklefuckeries on Deezus Take Money, and then send me a writing prompt, because we want to check those out. We want you guys to do this exercise with us, because me and Tyler have a whole lot of fun doing it. So definitely make sure you do that. So, and I will announce the winner of the giveaway, whichever episode is going to be at the end of June. So I believe, I don't have my schedule in front of me, so I don't know what episode that is, but you have until the last week of June to get as many entries into the contest, and then I'll do a drawing, and then you will get sent some cool swag. Sound good? Cool. Next little bit of housekeeping. Of course, guys, make sure you guys are getting the iTunes reviews in there. 5-star iTunes reviews will get you a shout out on Twitter. We'll read the reviews on the Deezus Take Money show. And not only do the reviews, pat my ego, but it also helps get the show spread around so other people can listen to the show. So make sure you're getting those 5-star iTunes reviews. And last but not least, of course, I gotta beg you for some fucking money, because, I'm a millennial and I'm broke. But check out the Patreon account at patreon.com/Deezus Take the Reel. $1 a month can help make the show bigger and better. We can do longer segments. Deezus Take Money can become its own show. We can do all sorts of other kind of stuff. So make sure you guys are helping out over on the Patreon account, patreon.com/Deezus Take the Reel. All right. Now that the boring shit is out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff. We're going to get into the bulk of the show. And so, obviously, like I said, guys, Wonder Woman just dropped this past weekend, and it's pretty fucking lit. If you haven't seen this movie yet, guys, make sure you go and see it. But let's go ahead and get into our initial thoughts of it. So, Ty, what are your basic non-spoiler thoughts? Because I know I usually spoil every movie on the show, but I will try to be have a little more discretion on this one, since it is a very new movie. So what are your initial thoughts, Ty?
I really love this movie, which was a big surprise to me, because going into it, I'd been pretty disappointed by some of the previous entries in the DC Extended Universe, and the humor in the trailers looked so off to me, and just some didn't sit right. But thankfully, when I saw it last week at a screening, I was just so pleasantly surprised and enthralled by how good it was. The action was terrific. The direction was fantastic compared to most comic book movies. Like, Patty Jenkins did something really special with this movie. She clearly understood the character of Wonder Woman, which was really nice to see, because this movie needed that. Also, Gal Gadot, she was fantastic, which again also surprised me, because I thought she was pretty wooden in Batman vs. Superman. I do have some minor gripes, some stuff with slow motion and some cackling villains, but overall, I really, really dig this movie.
Yeah, same here. Like, my expectations, I was very hesitant going into this movie, just because things have been, hit and miss, more miss than anything over at the DCEU. And people were kind of thinking like this was DC's like last shot. Like, if Wonder Woman doesn't work out, what are they gonna do moving forward with the rest of these movies? And but lucky for us, we were treated to a fantastic movie that it not only brings fresh air into the DCEU, but like you said, it is all about Wonder Woman. It's bringing this character to life. Gal Gadot really hit it out of the park for me in this. I liked her bits in BVS, so I was already kind of like, okay, like, she's got the look, and we didn't really get to see too much from her, so it's not like you could really form an opinion. But going in, since she doesn't have, the acting experience, that's kind of what worried me. So I was like, all right, what are we going to get out of this? And then, like you said, Patty Jenkins definitely really did something special with this. She, like you said, she really understands the themes of this character, because the themes are very prevalent in this movie. This movie it's hopeful. It's empowering. It's very, I say it's very triumphant. Like I got done at the end of this movie and I was like, man, I need to go like fucking help some old people or something. Like, I don't know. But it's a great movie. Gal Gadot and Chris Pine's chemistry together is fantastic. But this is a big deal. You know, this is the first female-led superhero solo movie that we've ever had, and also directed by a female director as well. And they not only gave this, you know, and this is a female director that they gave a big budget to. That was also a big thing in this as well. So all the factors that go into this movie, you know, the impact that it's going to make into society with, you know, like I said, it's so empowering. You go into this movie, it's filmed very nicely. Like, it looks good. The script is real good as well. I love the score for it. I think, I love the Wonder Woman score. I know we, you know, debated a little bit about that, but I love the score for it. It has one of the most iconic scenes that people are going to be talking about for the longest time with the No Man's Land entrance. I mean, we really got just some very special moments in this movie. But yeah, it does have some problems, especially in the third act with the villains. Fuck Dr. Poison, the rejected Bond villain. She is just, oh man, she's the most annoying thing. But the thing with this one is like, I was willing to overlook a lot of, you know, the problems I had with it, just because of the fun I was having with it, because it's a fun experience to go watch as well. I mean, the humor worked really well. The chemistry is real fun to watch. And you really buy into his character. And I think that, you know, I really like the movie, but I love Diana Prince / Wonder Woman now. Like that's one of my new bays now. Like, every time she just came on screen and that fucking smile she has, I'm just like, ugh. And I was like, we do not deserve you. And they said that, like, I don't know how many times throughout the movie, but like, we literally don't deserve her because she's so fucking perfect. But something I noticed, and what we're gonna kind of get into with this discussion, is I felt a lot of Captain America First Avenger vibes. I don't know if I'm the only one that felt that, but I felt some very strong Captain America First Avenger vibes. And that was one of my tweets. I was like, this movie is everything that Captain America the First Avenger wanted to be, but wasn't, at least in my opinion. So I wanted to bring Ty on so we could do this kind of compare contrast. So how do you feel about Captain America the First Avenger?
Unlike you, I actually really do enjoy that movie. I think it's one of the better entries in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I really like how Joe Johnson really captured the World War II era. And I like seeing Steve in that setting, especially contrasting to where he is now, like where we last saw him in Civil War. He's in such a different place, and seeing him back then where he belongs. It's a really interesting movie, and I think it's quite well done. But I can see a lot of the criticisms that you and many others do have.
Yeah, I rewatched it today, and I don't hate it. I just also don't really like it either, and it also could possibly because, like, I just don't really like the character of Steve Rogers, Captain America. I find him kind of bland. I find him kind of one-dimensional. I don't think there's a lot to him. He doesn't excite me as a superhero, considering his powers are parkour and kickboxing, essentially. And ultimate frisbee skills. So, you know, just the characters never really compelled me all that much. And I remember watching this movie for the first time, and I was bored out of my mind, like, whenever it came out, like, and it still kind of bored me. I was watching it, and I was just like, okay, so not a lot of things really happen in this movie. Like, I mean, we do get a lot of character stuff, but I think just in general, Marvel Phase 1 isn't as strong as people make it out to be. Like, I'm not even a big fan of the first Iron Man movie. I think it's a decent movie.
Oh, really?
I think it's good. I think it's definitely better than Captain America First Avenger. But it just, I don't know. Just something didn't really sit right with me. But then that's whenever I started thinking about it more whenever I was watching Wonder Woman. Because, I mean, you can see the obvious, like, you know, similarities between the two of them. You know, as far as being this, you know, being very pure, always doing the right thing, kind of this beacon of hope, always going against the grain because they're going to do what they know is right, regardless of what people say. You know, these were both war epics, you know, Wonder Woman taking place in World War I, and then Captain America in World War II. So it's like, I mean, they both feature Nazis in the movies, trying to go after the Nazis. so I just see lots of different similarities, but like I said, the difference between the two of them is like I really feel like the things that, you know, Wonder Woman represents. Like this movie, you know, we talked about in Council Chat is, this movie doesn't tell you things, like, because that's kind of what the DCU's always done. They tell you certain things, but it's just like I was shown things, but then I felt it, and that's the difference between watching that and then I was watching Captain America: First Avenger, and I never really felt a thing for him. Like I was like, okay, he was a bully guy and all that kind of stuff, and I don't like bullies, and that's his main motivation for wanting to become a superhero. Apparently, there is good things in that movie. Don't get me wrong. Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark, fantastic. Peggy Carter, fantastic. Like there's some really good stuff in Captain America: First Avenger, but I never feel that. Like I said, whenever I got done watching Captain America: First Avenger, I didn't like have the feeling to like want to go out and do something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I disagree, because I had the same feeling that I did at the end of First Avenger that I have with Wonder Woman. Like, I want to go out and I want to help someone. Like, I get that feeling from both of these movies, and that's something that I think is really good on the hands in the hands of the directors and the two leads, that they are able to make me feel that way by the end of their respective movies. I think Captain America had me feeling that way more so, which is really weird considering, I don't know, like I always get weird looks when I'm like, oh yeah, Captain America is one of my favorite superheroes because I'm Canadian, and people go, oh really, you prefer the American guy? And I'm like, well, most of them are Americans, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I think both of them work for the same reasons, but I think Wonder Woman in the end does work a bit better, but I give First Avenger a lot more credit than you do.
Yeah, and I think it also, like, for me personally, Captain America kind of lacked that defining moment, because, I mean, when we talk about this scene, like, we don't want to give this away for the people that haven't seen the movie yet, so definitely, please go see this movie. But this entrance and this transformation that we get of Diana transforming into Wonder Woman and really become like settling in her own. I never got that from Captain America. I never got that defining moment from him to where I was like, oh man, like, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here, or maybe, like I said, it's just my Captain America bias here. But you know, Red Skull is a great villain in Captain America: First Avenger, so I will give it the edge there, because definitely one of the weak points of Wonder Woman was the villains.
Yeah, that's true. I would argue your point that Steve, Captain America, didn't have that defining moment. I think your defining moment for Wonder Woman is the No Man Land scene, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For me, for Steve, it was at the end of the movie where he sacrifices himself and puts the plane into the water to save so many other lives. I think that was the defining moment where he became more than just a soldier, but also a hero. And that was his defining moment for me in that movie.
Yeah. And speaking of which, like, I also kind of like the comparison, because, like, you know, Wonder Woman almost feels like this, like, super soldier. I mean, she's literally in this movie taking on these entire, you know, squadrons on her own with you know, no help and everything. And I mean, they both carry shields. I don't know. Am I reaching here for the comparisons? But no, you know, Wonder Woman is just like I said, I felt emotions in that I mean, really, I haven't felt in a lot of superhero movies. Like, you know, most superhero movies, we get caught up in the big set pieces and the action and things like that. And I'm glad that, you know, because Wonder Woman doesn't, I mean, it does have a fair amount of action scenes, but it's not like super action heavy or anything like that, you know? So I think just the fact of it being able to put this entertaining film for us, you know, with it being character driven, you know, like, you know, they tried to develop characters in Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel, and, you know, they attempted, but at the same time, I think it was a lack of understanding of these characters, you know, especially for Suicide Squad 2. But like you said, with Patty Jenkins coming in as the director, like, you can tell that she did her research, that she connects with this character, and she brought this character to life. And, now, little girls across the country are going to have this new role model for them because we haven't had that either. So I think, the social impact that Wonder Woman's about to have is going to be just amazing. Like, I mean, just already the overwhelming support that it's had online and things like that is just, it's super incredible.
Yeah, I agree. And it's so important that everybody feels represented. And especially, like, we haven't had any female superhero-led films since, what was the last one, Elektra, in like 2005, starring Jennifer Gardner.
Yeah.
And that movie was
something. That it was a movie.
Yeah, it certainly was. I guess it classifies. So having this and having it be as well done as it is, because if it wasn't as good as it is, I feel like that's just such a huge missed opportunity. I mean, yeah, sure, we have Captain Marvel coming out from Marvel in 2 years, or maybe even less than that now, but Wonder Woman is just such an iconic pop culture staple, and screwing that up, and sure, like, I don't think it needed to have this cultural impact like it has, and it's going to continue to have.
Yeah, it definitely didn't, but it did have a lot of pressure on it, though, like you said, because it's like, okay, if this didn't work out, people are going to scramble to be like, oh, how can we make a female superhero movie work, or, things like that, or really, it was just kind of like the fate of the DCEU was kind of setting on this movie. It was the first movie that Jeff Johns was involved in since he got promoted to head of DC and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there was just a massive amount of pressure on this movie. So, due to the fact of the way it performed, and it's like I almost can't wait to like watch this movie 6 months down the road or a year when, we're not thinking of all the buzz and all the things surrounding it, and really be able to just like set in and really even take it in even more. I think it was a fantastic movie, despite some of its flaws. This movie definitely has issues. Like we've mentioned Dr. Poison. I think just the name alone is going to tell you like what you're about to get from this character. Like, I mean, I'm practically, doing the maniacal hand movement right now every time I say her name.
Do you want to know what happens to that character in the comic books?
I am actually kind of curious.
Okay, so that character, she's all about making, or maybe it's a he in the comics, I can't remember, but basically, he or she is really about making poisons and gases and all that kind of stuff. And how she or he leaves the comic books is that they make a gas that de-ages you. And eventually, Dr. Poison just turned into a fetus, and that's it. That's how that character ends.
Well, then.
Like that. Yeah, I know. It's quite incredible.
I don't know. I might have been satisfied if that's the way she went out in this movie, because like every time she came on screen, I was just like my eyes started twitching. But no. But gripes aside, though, definitely if you have not already checked out Wonder Woman, please go see this movie. It deserves the support that it's getting. I mean, it's making all this money too, which is fantastic for to see. I'm really excited to see what its total numbers again end up being. I mean, it just did 100.5 million opening weekend domestically. I mean, that is just out of this world. Love it, love it, love it. And like I said, Gal Gadot, we don't deserve Diana. I'm like I said, I'm in love with Diana. Like I haven't even been calling her Gal online most of the time. I'm like Diana is just she's so great. Like she's so great. Her and Steve Trevor's banter back and forth was just fantastic. And I love that Chris Pine didn't try to overshadow the movie either. Like that was a perfect example of supporting a character.
Yeah, agreed. And one thing that I really liked about the Steve Trevor and Diana Prince dynamic was the fact that she never emasculated him. He was still less than her, but she was never like, oh, you're just a wee little man. It was he saw her as above him, but she saw him as above her because he's so used to man's world, and she's kind of the fish out of water, and he's the fish out of water in terms of all this Amazon stuff with Ares and all of that. And I really liked that dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah, I like that as what you just said. You know, they didn't demasculate him, and it's also, you know, kind of what they did with, you know, the theme of the movie of, you know, being, you know, empowering for females. They did not try to tear men down, you know, like people thought they were gonna do, like they were just gonna be trashing men the whole time or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did it in a very great, respectable way. Except I will say, you know, without spoilers, they do get a little repetitive with one certain aspect, but overall though they definitely did. And I also love you know, I love the romance in this because they don't focus on it a ton, but they just let it be their natural chemistry and like that kind of stuff together. And then, you know, they didn't harp on it, and then, you know, the romance, you know, kind of culminated in a moment at the end, and it was just like, like I saw Lon on Twitter was like, is this one of the best romances we've had in a comic book movie? And now that I think about it, most of the romances in comic book movies suck.
Yeah, that's true. The only one I feel is comparable to this one is between Steve and Peggy in the First Avenger, and then it's this one. I put Steve and Peggy above that because they had some more development compared to Steve and Diana. Theirs was a lot more subtle, but I get really invested in Peggy and Steve.
That's another comparison. I totally didn't even think about their secret agent sidekicks in the movie. I totally didn't even think about that one. Did you get like, because Steve Trevor is not this badass in the comics. That was kind of something that made me laugh. I kept calling him Steve Bourne the whole movie because I was like, he just kept coming up with all these new skills that he had, and I was like, wait, what? You do that too? I thought you were just a spy. So, I don't know. But overall, a great movie. Definitely worth checking out. But yeah, and then if you feel like rewatching Captain America First Avenger, you know, go ahead and do that too, I suppose.
Definitely do that.
But that will go ahead and do it for, you know, Wonder Woman, Captain America talk, because I didn't want to do too many spoilers in this one. Because it is still very fresh. Just go see the movie for yourself. But to go ahead and get into the outro to close out the show is we are going to do story time. And this actually isn't story time. This is just kind of a share time, I suppose. You know, we're talking Wonder Woman, and I want to talk about who is a woman who inspires you. So I'll go ahead and start off so that way you have a minute to think for a sec.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You know, like I said, I don't prep because I like you guys. I like it to be fresh. I want it to be nice and fresh coming from you. But a woman who inspires me is, I mean, if you know me in real life, you know that I don't talk to my real mother, my birth mother, all that much anymore. We're not very close. We kind of have this estranged relationship. Didn't talk for like 6 years. Like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Or at least now. I've kind of accepted it now. But I do have a mom, and anytime I've mentioned my mom, I am talking about my actual quote-unquote stepmom, but she's been in my life since I was 2, and she has just done everything under the sun for me, you know, even especially in the times that my real mother wasn't there. And then, you know, she's just so inspiring, and just in the fact that, like, you know, I'm not her birth son. She didn't have this responsibility to kind of take me on in that way. And she just inspires me, and she, you know, has had times where my dad wasn't working. She had to work 2 or 3 different jobs to help, you know, support me and my sister. I mean, she's just incredible, but she just is always so positive. She always has a smile on her face. I mean, she's so funny. We can talk about anything. We hang out, and she's just phenomenal. And I never really appreciated her until like high school, whenever things were really getting bad with me and my mother. And then, you know, having her around, she inspires me like literally every day, and you know, I love her to death. So, you know, a little personal share time for you guys. You got one in mind?
Yeah, I'll go with my mother. We haven't always got along and see eye to eye about everything, but despite all that, she's always there for me, and I always try to be there for her. She always wants the best for me. And I have to remember that when sometimes maybe we don't see eye to eye. Her perspective is always just looking out for my best interests, which not everyone does for you. And I really take that for granted sometimes. And so she does mean a lot to me. And it's just, I don't want to disappoint her like I feel like I have in the past. Mm-hmm. And hopefully moving forward, I continue to be better for her, and hopefully we can build a stronger relationship, as I feel we have been over the past year or two now, because as I've gotten older, I've been able to see her perspective a lot more, but we still have our differing opinions on many things in life.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to with any, relationship with your parents. You're always gonna have your ups and downs. Things haven't always been peachy between either of my moms, I suppose. But they're your mother, your mom, and they mean the world to all of us. So definitely the takeaway from this story time is go text or call your mom and just tell them you love them. Take them to go see Wonder Woman. You guys will have a great time, because they are definitely the Wonder Women in our lives. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I went there. But that'll go ahead and do it for story time, guys, which will go ahead and close out the show. Thank you so much, Ty, for coming on and chatting Wonder Woman and Captain America with me. Where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me writing at geeksgamers.com. You can find me on my personal YouTube channel. Just type in Ty Rothermal and you'll find me. And also, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NerdyCasual.
For sure, guys. Make sure you guys go check him out, read some of his articles. He does some awesome work over there. And just check out all the stuff on Geeks and Gamers. I got lots of friends that write and do lots of fun stuff over there. So make sure you guys are checking out geeksandgamers.com. And, of course, as always, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Deezus12. You can find the podcast on Twitter at Deezus Take the Reel, so make sure you guys go check that out. Don't forget about the giveaway, guys. Like I said, screenshot that you're subscribed to the podcast. DM it to me with your favorite movie, and you are automatically entered into the giveaway, which I will announce at the end of the month. So make sure you guys are doing that. And check me out on Instagram as well at Deezus.12. But that will go ahead and do it for this week's show. Thank you so much, guys. Peace out, motherfuckers. Thank you so much for listening to Deezus Take the Reel, the dopest movie talk show on the internet. You can find me every Tuesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play Music, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. If you like what you're listening to, write a 5-star iTunes review, and I'll read it on the Deez and T Money Show, which is every other Friday. And of course, spread this with ya homies. Last but not least, stay till the end for a little pre-recording something. Peace out, motherfuckers. Another comparison that I make between another big thing that I saw was we could have made this a triangle talk as well, because really I think Wonder Woman, they took the best parts of Captain America First Avenger and the best parts of the first Thor movie, because there's obviously the similarities there with the demigods and whatnot. So yeah, what do you think about that?
I agree, but I feel like there's more similarities to Superman the movie. I thought there was a lot of allusions to that film, and Patty Jenkins clearly took a lot of inspiration from that. And also some other comparisons to Captain America was both Steves went out in very similar ways. They took planes that had some sort of weapon on them and sacrificed themselves. And also both films had ragtag teams.
I didn't think about that
soldiers.
One too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few, but I mean that's just going to happen when you have this kind of a setting for both of those movies.
That's true. It was definitely the set piece part as well, for sure. But I don't know. I just thought, I remember that's what I was like thinking the whole movie. I was like, man, this movie is, at least for me, like I said, way outdoing Captain America First Avenger. I don't know.
Which is fair.
I don't know if I'm like missing something, or it's just I don't really connect to that character, I guess. I don't know.
It must be that you don't connect to the character, because
it's not a bad movie per se. Like it's not bad, but I don't know.